My name is Emily Taggart, and I want to report on growing up in Maine. So a little bit about me. I was born in Portland, Maine in 1998, and although I have moved around the state, I have lived here my whole life. To me, Maine is a very special state with many different activities and types of people. There's always something for everyone here. So Maine is a very unique place to grow up between camping and hiking in the mountains, long days spent on the beach, and our very own small city of Portland. There truly is a place for everyone here in Maine. So Maine is the first state in the U.S. to see the sunrise every morning. Along with that, we also experience all four seasons, so hot summer days, brisk falls, always a white Christmas, and very muddy springs. Maine has a rocky coast right along the Atlantic Ocean, which is great for playing in the sand or surfing the waves. I actually grew up surfing in the waters here, and no matter how cold it is, there are always surfers out there braving it. A really interesting thing about Maine is we are also the beginning of the Appalachian Trail, which goes from Maine to Georgia. And we also have a national park here, and both of those places are great for hiking or camping. So a little bit about our national park. We have Acadia National Park, and I actually grew up camping in the mountains every summer with my family. We would go hiking and do our annual 20-mile bike ride through the carriage trails in the woods, and of course we would always make a point to watch the sunset on Cadillac Mountain, which is the tallest mountain in the park. And then always, of course, enjoying the views of the ocean, and sometimes from the top of the mountains you can actually see whales and seals in the water, which is really, really cool to see. Acadia has always been one of my favorite places to visit, and I actually have a couple things to show. So this is a rock, a rock that I got from Rock Beach, which is a beach in Acadia that's completely rocks. You can just look up pictures of it. It's so beautiful, but there's so many rocks just like this, perfectly round, perfectly smooth rocks, and they're so pretty, and people have them, will stack them up to make castles and stuff. But this is just a rock that I got from there, so kind of interesting. And then I also have a picture of me and one of my best friends at the top of one of the mountains. So you can see, the ocean in the background and the forest. It's just so pretty. I love hiking and looking at the views. It's so much fun. So I did a little research, and Timothy Sexton of the USA Today reported that Acadia National Park is actually the first park on this side of the Mississippi River, which I didn't know until doing further research. It's made up of 47,000 square feet, which is preserved land primarily on Mount Desert Island, although there are a couple surrounding islands which are included in that as well. Acadia includes mountains, waterfalls, rivers, ponds, and beautiful views of the ocean. Visitors can enjoy over 120 miles of hiking trails, plenty of biking along the carriage trails, and so much more. Okay. And then one of my other favorite places here in Maine is Portland. So Portland is our biggest city, and personally one of my favorite cities, and I've traveled to quite a few different cities. It's filled with lots of little shops and restaurants, primarily small business owned, which I think is really cool. Honestly, to describe it, I think it's I describe it as a little bit of a hippie feeling around here. I think that's the best way to explain it. There's just many different people, many different shops and restaurants, and a lot of natural organic restaurants, but it's all very good. It's by far one of my favorite cities to just go explore, and I think the best part about it is there's always tons of parking and there's never any crowds. So I also have a picture of me and one of my best friends just on the street in downtown Portland. You can see the old buildings in the background, which are still standing, and then we're on a brick sidewalk, but there are original cobblestone sidewalks, which is really, really cool. As of 2016, the U.S. Census reported that there are just over 66,000 people living in Portland, 17% of which are children. So that's about 1/5 of the population, and the median age is about 35.8 years old. So you can see Maine is a pretty good place for parents with children. So I would say, based off that, Maine is a pretty good place to start a family. A majority of the population here, about 92.8%, are high school graduates, and then half of the total population has either a bachelor's degree or higher. So coming and living in Maine, you will get a good education going forward. So to conclude, these are just 2 reasons why I think growing up in Maine is especially unique and exciting. There's plenty of opportunities for families to get outside and make memories, as well as get a good education. I personally am very glad that I had the opportunity to grow up in Maine, and even though I have traveled away for college, Maine will always be home for me.